It's your girl Stacey Michelle right here. Welcome to Stacey Michelle's Corner, episode 8, summer recap. Okay, I tried to do this on Wednesday. Summer recap on Wednesday, and unfortunately, in the middle of my recap, everything just shut down. My computer shut down. I thought it was charging, but it wasn't charging. So what did I do? I ordered some more ports and outlets to make sure that it is going to sustain this entire live, okay? So how y'all doing out there? Yes, unfortunately, mistakes have to happen in order for you to learn. Without mistakes, you won't learn. Without being consistent, you won't get better. So here I am again, episode 8, summer recap. How was your summer? The summer is over. How was your summer? Did y'all take trips? Did y'all get married, divorced, got together, hooked up, were babies born? So much has happened this summer, and I'm just gonna take up about an hour of your time to chit chat about some of the most things that I thought were most memorable and historic and also devastating that happened during the months of June, July, and August. So make sure you engage with me, leave some comments, and let me know what you did this summer. Share. But before I begin, like always, I always want to remind you all about being safe. It's always a safety moment when it comes to me. So as you know before, I've always talked about pediatric vehicular heat stroke, also known as PVH. And that is something I have been talking about this whole entire summer. That is when a child is left in a hot vehicle and that child's body core temperature rises to 104 degrees. Heat stroke then kicks in, and then the child can actually die once their body temperature reaches 107 degrees. All right, so the CD reports that annually estimated 700 people die each year from heat-related deaths. So unfortunately this year there were actually 27 deaths that actually happened, up from last year, which 2023 they had 29, but in 2024 we're still kind of we're not even in the fourth quarter yet, and we already have 27 deaths that have been reported. And unfortunately, you all have to make sure that you are being mindful that you are not leaving your child or anyone that is not able to assist themselves in the back seat, or even a pet in the back seat of a car. Okay, I know now a lot of cars do have features where before you leave, when you open up that back door and you put something in there and you close that back door, that actually triggers something in the car to alert you when you arrive to your final destination that, hey, you opened up the back seat of this car. Make sure you get whatever it is that you put back there. So let's be mindful of that. Now, there are some laws. There are some states that actually have Good Samaritan laws, where if you come across a child or a pet in a hot car, that you're able to, as a good Samaritan, you are free from any type of liability if you break into that vehicle to rescue a person or a pet in distress that is actually trapped inside. Okay, and so these laws were put in place to encourage citizens to act without fear of retribution from the car owner, from anybody, that may feel like, okay, you damaged my car, and but just be mindful that it is important that if you see something, say something, okay? Because these minutes could be a difference between life or death for a person or pet trapped inside a hot car. And as you can see on this map, currently there are only 25 states that actually have Good Samaritan laws in place. And if you are in a state that does not have that, you probably need to contact your local representative. And also, when you go to vote in November, or if you're voting early, to look down that down ballot, to actually educate yourself to see what, if there are any laws, what representatives may have not even wanted these laws to come into effect, but just educate yourself to know that, you know, what's going on in your state, and also to understand these Good Samaritan laws are in place to keep you safe, and also the person that, or the person, child, pet, or whoever is in the back seat safe, because again, minutes can save lives. So anyway, yes, let's get right into it. So, Lord, the month of June was really, really hot. Okay, we had heat domes, we had deaths from these heat domes, we had, you know, just a lot going on in the month of June. But let's get started, because the month of June, let's see, I want to say it was hot, sexy, heat domes, beauty and brains, and love and basketball. But let's talk about the heat. Oh my God, it was so hot this June. Very, very hot. The heat wave actually came early and was very long lasting. I don't know, some of you all who are like in the Midwest, or if you're like in the northern states near the Great Lakes, okay, you felt like this heat, it was nothing, it was unbelievable. So basically, what is a heat dome? It is a high pressure system in the atmosphere that actually traps heat over a certain area. So basically, if you see right now what I'm showing you, that is exactly what this heat dome was, okay? And some of the temperatures, I mean, they were like in the hundreds to 90s, record-breaking temperatures that a lot of us were. I know, I live in the state of Georgia, and it was very hot. I'm talking about hot, like 9 o'clock in the morning, hot, just really, really hot. And by the time 11:30 came, you're talking about 100 and just really hot. It was really, really crazy. Another thing that I learned, that there actually was a Hajj pilgrimage to the Mecca this summer, and that was on June 19th, and they said at least 500 people were reported to have died in Saudi Arabia as these temperatures actually rose. And I thought that was interesting, because I knew it was hot over here in America, but like we kind of would go to work or stay indoors and then kind of come outside later. I know I visited Phoenix a couple of years ago, and Phoenix, Arizona, and that was really, really hot. And literally the streets between the hours of like 9 and maybe 5, like no one was out. I mean, if they were out, they were in their cars, they were getting in their cars, they were leaving, but no one came out until later on that afternoon or later on that evening, after everything actually had calmed down. But according to news reports, they said that temperatures rose as high as 125 degrees Fahrenheit. You know, the news kind of like, they kind of like make up stuff sometimes. I can't imagine being somewhere and it's 125 degrees Fahrenheit in the shade. But they were encouraging the pilgrims to actually stay inside and not, you know, stay inside during the hottest hours between 11 and 3. Yeah, I couldn't imagine. But that is something, that pilgrimage, I learned, is something that is actually required of a Muslim to do if they are financially, physically able to do it. That is something that they take a part in every year. So, yeah, God bless those who had to deal with the loss of loved ones. And I even read that, like, they were trying to find their loved ones because it was so many people out there, and so the loved ones were missing. So I can't imagine what that would be like. But other than that, I mean, even more shocking is, oh Lord, this summer our electric bills were, I know my electric bill was super duper crazy, okay? But the excuse is that with extreme heat comes outrageous outrageous electricity bills. These last 2 summers, I can definitely say, have been very hot. And as you can see right now you can see put up right here that in Pennsylvania, they actually saw an increase in their bills from 6 to almost 45% starting in June, which is a big leap. And then in the New England states, you actually have 23 to 25%. And then in South Carolina, they show that it was 5 to 19% increase. I know I felt it. And one of our dear friends also felt it. How many of y'all remember when Plies last year, he shared his opinion about how he felt about receiving a $1,200 electric bill, okay? And even though he expressed this frustration last year, I think this rant will never get old, because I know when I came across it, when I was doing my research just to see how hot it was this year, I came across his rant, and I had to laugh because that's exactly how I felt. Okay, so I'm about to play this video for you all, and for some of y'all who have sensitive ears, you may want to take a quick restroom break or get something to drink, because he is really expressing himself. And I tried to bleep it out. I try my best. I promise you I try my best to bleep out his frustration. But maybe next time I'll have to figure out what app or software that I could use that makes it easy, because he definitely was doing his thing. So here you go. Listen to this. I know that's right.
You ever thought about getting some lower motherfucking rates? A motherfucking smaller place.
Right.
Fuck small. I don't want my motherfucking weight out. I sleep in my motherfucking car before I pay y'all $1,200 for some motherfucking life.
$1,200. Cut him off. He was like, cut him off. Cut him off.
Fuck about this shit. Motherfucking piss me off. Ain't no motherfucking way no light's supposed to be this motherfucking high.
Okay, Plies. I feel you, Plies. I feel you. I do. I really do feel you, because when I actually opened up my bill, my camera over here blurry. We're gonna fix that. But when I opened up my bill, okay, because you start off with June, so it gets hot in June, so you start running the air conditioner. And I got 2 units, so you start running it, and you kind of, and I do like 79, 80, right? 80, maybe 79, 78, depending on what's really going on. But so you start off June, and you hear your unit just going. You hear it keep kicking on, and you're looking at the thermostat like, wait a minute, I got it on 80, so it shouldn't be kicking on that much, but it's still going and going and going. So by the time you in the middle of June, you kind of get that bill that says this was from May and this is the beginning of June, and that's when you see the increase, because you go from maybe a $75 electric bill, because I have heat and I have gas and I have electric, so you go from $75 to all of a sudden this 200 and something bill, and you like, what? And you like, Plies, you like a system, you know what I'm saying? What you mean get a smaller place? Can't get a smaller place. I'm paying for it. What are you talking about? But I actually had to educate myself, and y'all know I like to educate myself, so I had to figure out what makes our bills so high. Why is it so high? I don't understand. So this is the reasonings, so they say, the number of reasonings why there's always an increase, our electric bill increases so much during the summer. So first of all, there's an increase in demand. Okay, when it's hot, we're gonna use that electricity to run these air conditioners. Okay, and so it increases demand for electricity. Second is it's higher rates. Okay, you know, these companies, they say when there's demand for, when the demand for electricity is high, so is our prices. Our prices are going to increase, and it's unfortunate that in some people have, wherever they live, have a choice. So they have a choice of electric companies, so they can either do one electric company or they can do another. Some of us who, I live in the state of Georgia, I only have Georgia Power, so I can't be like, Georgia Power, your rates are too high, let me go get with someone else. All right, so also there's an increase in usage, of course, when the demand for, you know, we do stay inside when it's hot. Okay, we stay inside and we use more electronics and appliances. I know for some people, you know, when the work from home, when it was a choice of going back to work or working from home, some people actually decided to go back into the office because of the increase in their electric bill, because when being at home, you're running all type of appliances, but when you go in the office, you can use your company's electricity, air conditioning, all that. Another thing, they said that it's harder work for our air conditioners, okay? So our air conditioners have to work harder to keep our homes comfortable at a great temperature. And I guess that's why they say make sure that you're getting your air conditioning service. I need to get mine serviced, but it's been cooler weather, so I don't know, it's been cooler. So hopefully by the time October gets here, I'll have a normal $75 electric bill. However, when the winter comes, my heat bill is going to be just as high because I don't like to be cold. So yeah, tell me, y'all, let me know, like, what was your summer like? Like, did you have like an outrageous electric bill? Like, if you called the electric company, would you be like, Plies? Because you got to keep in mind, the person that you're talking to probably is dealing with the same thing that you're dealing with. So we have to definitely be mindful that the individuals that are calling you, that work in customer service, are probably dealing with the same problems that you have. And if you be kind, they will be kind to you. Okay, but some of them do be getting slick at the mouth. Some of them do be like, well, you're gonna pay it. I remember I told this one lady a couple of years back, I was like, I'm not paying that. She was like, well, if you don't pay it, I was like, you know what? I don't care. I'm not paying that. And y'all can send it to collections because I'm not paying it. Like, she got real slick with me, but it's all good because I ended up paying it anyway. So I didn't pay it at that time. I didn't want her to win, but I ended up paying it. But anyway, let's keep moving. So also some great news, some good happenings, some great things that happened was in Mexico. So President Claudia Sheinbaum, Claudia Sheinbaum, who was a former mayor of Mexico City, was elected as the first woman president, okay? Which I think is pretty awesome, especially with the season that's going on right now. Women are really rising up, taking these leadership roles, and congratulations to her. And just to be clear, like, sometimes people will discredit women and say, oh, they got the job because they're a woman. Oh, they got the job because they're beautiful. Oh, they got the job. You know, they'll come up with all these excuses as to why, or a reason why a woman may not quite be qualified, okay, to run a company, be a president. But she's actually also a scientist, okay? And she received her doctor of philosophy and engineering from the National Autonomous University of Mexico. She won the election by a landslide. She's authored over 100 articles and wrote 2 books on energy, the environment, and sustainable development. So I can only imagine that, it's probably a lot of youth who are, or just people who are interested in saving the planet, the country, or want some type of change, you know, and that's probably the reason why she just, she's a breath of fresh air, which, some leaders, we all know, some people be in positions for a very long time, and there's always a sigh of relief when someone refreshing comes in and takes that position and listens to the people and what they want and makes change that way. So she was also in 2018 named one of BBC's 100 women. Okay, so congratulations to her. I mean, there are a lot of other places that actually have women that are in leadership, such as Argentina, or have had women in leadership, like Argentina, Brazil, Bolivia, Chile, Ecuador, Panama, Haiti, and Costa Rica. So I'm that'd be interesting to see what how that works out for her. She actually takes office on October 1st, and she is going to be dealing with some really pressing, like, gender related issues, such as like gender employment gap, which is something that still goes on here in the States, inadequate policies guaranteeing sexual and reproductive rights, which I would say in the States, in a lot of corporate companies, are becoming more what's the word I'm looking for? Corporations are becoming more understanding of who their employees are when it comes to sexual and reproductive rights. But one big issue that is still really, really going on in Mexico is that women are still facing femicide, okay? And that is femicide, in case you don't know, are women who are killed because of their gender, okay? And here in the United States, I don't know who's watching from overseas, but we all remember a young lady named Shanquilla Robinson, who actually died while on vacation in Mexico with 6 of her friends. And even though, like, the Mexican authorities confirmed their belief that Robinson died as a result of physical attacks, no arrests have been made. They actually said this was kind of on the line of femicide, but no arrests have been made. So hopefully when President Claudia Sheinbaum gets into office October 1st, she can actually work on some of these policies, work on some of these issues, and maybe just maybe justice can come for the Shanquilla Robinson family, and they can finally get some peace from that sad situation. Which is really sad, because I mean, I just don't understand. Like, I know as individuals, we all have our dirt, right? We all get away with little things. Even little kids get away with certain little things, and we may not ever tell, like, I stole the last cookie out the cookie jar or whatever. But when it actually comes to harming someone, killing someone, hurting someone that you were supposed to be friends with, and you decide, and it could have been an accident. Well, I mean, it still could have been an accident. Who knows? They could have been, I don't know. The video says otherwise, that, she was being ganged on. But even the individuals that were there at the time, you may have all agreed, hey, let's keep our story straight, because I can't go to jail, whatever. However, it has been now 3 or 4 years, and you are still not saying anything or speaking up. I really hope that the family can somehow get in touch with President Claudia Sheinbaum and actually, somebody let me know if I'm pronouncing that right, but somebody actually, get in touch with her now that she'll be in office in October 1st, and being that this is one of her policies that she wants to work on. Hopefully y'all can get some answers from that. All right. But on a lighter note, if y'all recall, on one of my episodes, I actually talked about the NBA draft, right? I called myself trying to educate myself on the lottery draft, NBA lottery draft, because everybody was so excited about Atlanta being the first pick, okay? The Atlanta Hawks having the first pick. So me, myself, I call myself like, okay, let me educate myself to really figure out what's going on with this NBA draft. And the more I did, the more I was confused. But one thing I wasn't confused about, and one thing I'm never confused about, is fashion. And let me tell you something, okay? It's something about fashion and music and makeup that all just ends up in all of these spaces, like when it comes to sports and when it comes to just whatever, movies, everything ties down to fashions. And these young men, okay, they did their thing. I mean, the NBA draft was, it kept my attention hearing them talk with their family members and whatever, but it also kept my attention because of their style of dress. So, okay, and not only was this a highly anticipated night, fashion night, you had like several articles and outlets that actually covered this, from, you know, Hollywood Insider to the New York Times. Essence was even there, and even Vogue all highlighted the 24 NBA rookies on their draft day outfits. Okay, so I decided to pick 4 that kind of stood out for me, because I just like a classic Taylor suit. I just like everything, you know, put together. And so here are my top 4, actually standing with the commissioner. Now, these are my top 4, and I'm about to go in who was number 4 on down to who was my number 1 pick. But you have in pictured right here, you have Stephen Castle, you have Devin Carter, Jacoby Walter, and Reed Shepherd, okay? So these are my top 4. So let me get right into my top number 4 and my top number 3. Okay, so number 4 I am giving to Devin Carter, okay? Devin Carter, like, Devin Carter rocked it, okay? He had on a custom Cartier shades, okay, with a chrome heart diamond embellishment. His suit was double-breasted. It was a pastel blue, and it had like crystal sequins from head to toe. And what I liked about Devin Carter is he added a touch of grown man sexy, okay? Because he decided he was going to rock this suit with no undershirt, okay? And let me tell you, I was like, okay, now, somebody's mama is going to be hooking up with somebody's son, okay? Because let me tell you, that was really, and it kind of goes with him with the long hair, the long curls and everything. Like, it was given. It was given. I'm here to play ball, but I'm here to be y'all eye candy. All right. So a shout out to Devin Carter. Devin Carter played college basketball for the South Carolina Gamecocks and also the Providence Friars. He had a breakout season at Providence. Last season, he averaged 19.7 points, 8.7 rebounds, and 3.6 assists per game, while shooting 37.7% from beyond the arc. I know the arc must be like the 3-point shot. I'm telling you, I'm learning, but those of you who know, y'all know. All right, so my number 3 is Jacoby Walter. Now, Jacoby wore a glowing purple suit with pants that were tailored to fit him, and he paired it with an all-black shirt, okay? These Taylor suits, man, I'm telling you, the Taylor suits are just rocking, okay? So he matched it with his diamond-encrusted chain with the words Wubs, because that's his nickname, and he did that all with Prada. He had some Prada shoes on. So the one thing I liked that actually made him stand out, because it was another young man who had a purple suit on, but one thing that why I chose Jacoby was the inside of his jacket he had this print, and it was really cool when he opened it up for his shot, his moment on the red carpet. And that's why I chose him as my number 3, because it was a surprise, but it was also like, damn, that's fly. Okay, so shout out to Jacoby for being my number 3 pick. The Torontos actually picked him up, and before that he actually attended Baylor University in Waco, Texas, and he was a 5-star recruit in high school before actually committing to that university. So shout out to Jacoby and Devin for being my number 4, my number 3 pick. All right, so let's see who my number 2 and my number 1. So let's start off with my number 3. My number 3 is Steven Castle, okay? Oh, Steven had the look, okay? Steven wore a Taylor black suit that had like white splatter elements all over it. And then it was a custom suit he said he had made he got made. His friend Julian made it. So shout out to Julian. And to stand out, he also wore a Castle chain necklace, which was embellished with his own initials, and he kept his footwork light with some Louis Vuitton sneakers, which I actually like. A lot of executives, a lot of leaders, a lot of men in business, they will put on some Louis Vuitton sneakers or sneaker type shoes to go with their suits, and it's really fly if you ask me. All right, so Steven Castle is standing 6'6". He doesn't look like it, but he's tall. 6'6", at 215 pounds. And he actually was the 4th overall pick, being signed to the San Antonio Spurs. And they say he's pretty impressive because he was raised in Covington, Georgia. And prior to being drafted in NBA, he played like one season. I learned that he played only one season at the University of Connecticut. He averaged 11.1 points, 4.7 rebounds, and 2.9 assists while shooting 47.2 from the arc. And he actually did all that to help University of Connecticut to win about 37 wins. And also, they won the 2024 NCAA National Championship. So, shout out to Steven Castle, looking all fly right there at the NBA draft. And my number 1 pick, and some of y'all are probably like, why? It goes to Reed Shepherd, okay? Because he just wore a classic fitted Taylor suit. And it was sage green, and he paired it with a Gucci tie and brown Louis Vuitton boots. And this is such a classic choice, right? He didn't do anything flashy, and I like I like the classic look. You know, I like when a young man or a businessman comes in with a classic look, isn't all flashy, just nice, just well put together. But Reed Shepherd was the 3rd overall pick, and he was selected by the Houston Rockets. And he actually, before being selected, he averaged 12.5 points, 4.5 assists, 4.1 rebounds, 2.5 steals per game, okay? And he was actually a guard from the University of Kentucky. But shout out to him, shout out to all of them for being selected in the 2024 NBA draft. And shout out to all 4 of them for actually being my choice, because my choice matters. Yes, there we go. So shout out to them. I look forward to seeing some of them play. I think I was reading that some of them are going to play this summer and some of them aren't. But again, to be able to come out of college, whatever year you're in, and to have the opportunity to play for the NBA is pretty darn impressive. And the way things have changed now when players come out, or even being in college, they have a right to their name, they have a rightness to the likeness of who they are, and they actually can get paid now. So congratulations to them. Yeah, so June was pretty popping. It was hot. Plies remind us how hot it is, how hot it was. And then, we had a woman become president in Mexico. Who knows what's going to happen in November. We won't go into that because I don't feel like going back and forth with people. we'll see how that works. Because it's going to be interesting in November. But let's just jump right, let's jump right into July. So July, I swear, like somebody said, we must actually be in the Twilight Zone, the Matrix, I don't know, all of that in between, because a lot has happened. So July, we had a lot of rain. We had an Indian try to assassinate a cowboy. I mean, we had a cop that is turning into robbers. And not on here, but Biden actually also decided he was not going to run for president in the 2024 election that's coming on in November. So it was pretty darn wild. Let's start with July, okay? July. Do y'all know that there was so much rain in July? Like there was I don't think we made, so I guess this is what happened. So things happen, and while they're happening, we're like, man, that's crazy. And then when you take a step back and you go back to see what actually really happened, and you find out how much more has happened, then you're like, yo, this is wild. But one thing about all of the flooding that was in the rain that was going on, if any of you know or y'all believe in the Bible, the Bible actually describes a worldwide flood that actually happened, and it was called the Noachian, like Noah, Noachian flood, right? And of course that flood, covered the highest mountain on earth, and it destroyed life on earth. And in the story, God promised Noah that this would never happen again, okay? However, let's fast forward to 2024 with all these floods going on. One would think like, oh my God, is the world going to end? And with a lot of these floods, I know me and other people probably were rethinking like, while this is going on, like tomorrow's not promised, but I got 2 videos to share with y'all of some of the most wildest, let's see if I can pull it up, floods. So let's see if this one will play. Okay, yeah, so this video is actually a montage that the Weather Channel actually put together, right? And so you got footage of the Philippines, Taiwan, and China. So what happened in these 3 countries was there was a super typhoon called the Kimi. I think I'm saying that right. Kimi or Kiami. It began as a tropical storm, right? Only to intensify into like leaving a trail of destruction across the Philippines, Taiwan, and China, okay? 65 people were reported dead, leaving like fear because they also had an oil tanker that had actually sank in the Manila Bay, right? 12 people were killed by a mudslide in China from the heavy rains, because this was supposed to be, like they said, a tropical storm that ended up being just really, really something crazy. And then in the video earlier that just passed in the video, Surfside Beach, Texas was also affected by, let me pause the video. Surfside Beach, Texas was also affected by a tropical storm, Alberta. And this tropical storm actually happened like 500 miles from Surfside Beach, but the heavy winds and rainfall created like this storm surge, 4 feet of storm surge that just pushed inside into South Texas, and which was also surprising to them because you know, they weren't expecting, like, you hear like it's gonna rain and you hear like, okay, the flood is coming, but there's only so much warning you can get, right? Because water is a very, very powerful element on this earth, right? You got fire. Fire. Well, water is the element. Let me put it like that. So water, because it's so powerful, like, amount of water can just push you under, and then like the strength is so, just, I can't even explain it. Just imagine, you know, you're at the beach and a wave just all of a sudden pushes you. Like, you're standing up, the water is on, like, coming to your knees, and all of a sudden just this wave, you're talking to your friends and a wave comes and pushes you, and it pushes you forward, and it kind of knocks you over, and you're like, whoa. So imagine that like 30 million times stronger, right? Also, let's see, this part right here, it looks like Mountain View, Arkansas right here, where this camp is being pushed away. I lost my video. There it goes. This camper, there it goes. The camper is actually being pushed away. But again, that's Milan. You know, look at that. That is crazy. That is crazy. Look at all that just, and then another thing, when this happens, not only do you have devastation, but then you have like disease that can come into play, because then you have all this like garbage, all this trash, all this rubbish, all this like just stuff that now your water is contaminated, especially if you don't have the infrastructure to actually clean the water. So a lot just happens when these floods happen like this. And this is the mudslide I was talking about. Oh my goodness, it's just, you know, and we had some stuff happen in Georgia. We had, from what I recall, like, there was some flooding, like, in some unexpected, peculiar areas where flooding would normally not happen. And, you know, and even in certain areas, like, insurance companies won't insure you, because if you're not in a flood area, like, if you're not in a flood area and you say, I want to have flood insurance, you have to go through, like, all these hoops and all this stuff to try to figure out what's going on. This one is here, showing right now is Toronto, Canada. I actually have a better one of that one, of Toronto, Canada. Let me see if I can play that one. There it goes. So this was the flood in Toronto, Canada, y'all. And this happened on July 16th. I don't know if I was on mute or not, but this is the flooding that happened in Canada, Toronto, Canada. And this happened on July 16th, y'all. Which is wild. They said that they had almost, there we go. They said that they had almost 4 inches of rainfall, surpassing the city's daily record since 1941. Again, which is wild. The meteorologists in Canada, they had 3 days that fell in the city, and I mean, it was just wild. So yeah, so I don't know, like, all those thunderstorms and flash, I mean, just a lot. Like, even the Dolly Park situation, if y'all saw the video on that, that's also online. July 28th, Sunday, July 28th, everybody was in Dolly Park, Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. And there are several videos and photos that are circulating online that show people walking through, like, ankle deep water, you know what I'm saying, up to their ankles, and cars were just covered in water. Just wow. I can't imagine, well, sorta, because I remember every year when we would, like, in the summer when we were young, and we would go to, like, Six Flags or whatever, or we go to Carowinds, it would always rain. right? So you always had the poncho or whatever, and it would rain for a little while, and they'd have to stop the rides, and then it would stop. But I've never been in a situation where it just rained. Like, and even if it rained, it never like got to the point where, oh damn, it's flooding. Like, we gotta get out of here. We gotta get out of here. So that was pretty interesting. So it had me thinking, and I know it had a lot of people like in the comments. You'd be like, "Oh, the world is gonna end." They said when the flooding comes, this is the sign of the times, which it could be. I just hope that the world doesn't end until like I'm there having like my fun. I want to be like at a point in my life where I'm like, "Oh, this is it. I finally made it," and then boom, the world can end. But I will be so like, I mean, if the world ends like that and I'm going like that, I wouldn't know. But if the world kind of ends and I'm still in the process of it, like I'm still alive while the process of the world is ending and I'm trying to survive, I would be like totally like pissed. I'll be like, man, why? Why? Why couldn't it end after I was doing everything I wanted to do? That's why I'm trying to do it now. Because they said you can't, you gotta live now. Do it now. Y'all do it now. So you can make sure the world doesn't end on y'all. So another thing that happened, okay, we had an Indian decide that he was going to try to kill a cowboy. All right. So while some of people was getting pounded by rain and dealing with that, on July 13th, former President Donald Trump was the target of an assassination attempt at his Pennsylvania rally, okay? This was pretty wild. This was pretty memorable. This was pretty one of those things where, how in the hell did this happen, okay? So the gunman opened fire from outside Trump's event. He was armed with an AR-style rifle, which again, they're trying to get banned or, you know, just get it to where, like, your average day citizen should not be having an AR-15, because as you know, we also had another shooting in a mass shooting at a high school here in Georgia from an AR style type of rifle. Well, anyway, Trump was wounded, and then the alleged shooter, of course, was killed. The authorities have wrapped up, I believe they have wrapped up their investigation. You all can go and see what that was about. I won't too much talk about that. But the Associated Press does have an article online called A Timeline of the Assassination Attempt on Former President Donald Trump. If you are interested in it, you can go see that, because they give you a detailed timeline of everything that happened. They even say the time when the shooter was actually found before his attempt, when I guess a police officer saw him and I guess thought, hey, he must be part of us. I don't know. Could be, you know, because you know, they hire a lot of people and new people get hired, and sometimes you may not know who the new person is on the job. You just know that, hey, we're assigned to get on this job. But like they say, that's why they say when at work or wherever you are, when you see something, say something, even though they call it snitching. I call it otherwise. I call it saving someone's life. But after that happened, of course, y'all know, we had the the debates, and then President Joe Biden decided he was going to drop out of the 2024 race for the White House, okay? And he did that on Sunday, July 21st. I think that might have been about a week after this attempted assassination happened. And yeah, this this has been definitely an interesting month of July, okay? One thing I want to talk about in the month of July, and there go Biden and Kamala Harris. But one thing I want to talk about that was really just a really, really sad story. And hold on. So one thing that happened in July that was very, very sad and brought a lot of attention to worldwide was the murder of Sonia Massey. On July 6, 2024, Sonia Massey, who was a 36-year-old black woman, she was shot and killed in her home by Sean Grayson, who is a white deputy of the Sangamon County Sheriff's Office in Woodside Township near Springfield, Illinois. Okay, she had actually called 911 for help. She was calling about a possible intruder or a prowler on the loose, and a lot of y'all have seen that video. Something I won't be sharing, but she ended up getting killed in her own home. But one of the interesting things that was, so he immediately, thank God, because that's why I said he's a cop that turned to robber, because he literally robbed Sonia Massey of her life. But he was immediately charged with murder, and he had the nerve to plead not guilty. Now, it was interesting because a lot of people were discussing, like, how in the world did this man end up even being a cop, a police officer, a deputy, or whatever he was, with all of the red flags that he had? Like, was nobody... And we all go through background checks. So I guess when it comes to police officers, they're not required to go through background checks. Well, anyway, check this out, y'all. So here are some of the red flags of this cop who turned robber, okay? So in August 2015, he had a DUI guilty plea. All right? He had a guilt. If you're on TikTok, hey, y'all can come to YouTube and y'all can see what everyone else sees. But anyway, in August 2015, he had a DUI guilty plea, okay? He was enlisted in the U.S. Army as an auto mechanic, and he pleaded guilty to DUI in August, all right, in Illinois, all right? And he paid more than like $1,300 in fines. Okay, that was August 2015. February 2016, he was discharged from the Army, all right? He received a general discharge under honorable conditions from the Army in 2016 due to misconduct, serious offense. How do you... What? If you're discharged under honorable conditions, but it's due to misconduct, serious offense. Okay, anyway. All right, so anyway, the serious misconduct was listed in his discharge. And so there you go. And I guess I was reading it had something to do with his DUI. I don't know, but anyway, when he did get hired, they were aware of his DUI at the time, okay? And they said, the sheriff at the time when he got hired said, like, past DUI convictions don't disqualify someone from being a deputy, because people can change and improve over time. And I agree, because you could be young or whatever. You could be young, and what happens is young and dumb in college, and you get a DUI, and you definitely serve your time. But again, I think DUIs could be expunged. I'm not sure, but anyway. So here you go. So in 2016, though, he has another DUI guilty plea in the same county, and this time he paid more than $2,400. From August 2020 to July 2021, he had a part-time police job. Okay. All right. And he worked as an officer in Pawnee, which had a population of about 2,700 people. He said he left because he was looking for full-time work. All right. That's what he wrote on his application. Then June 2021, he received his state certification to work as a part-time law enforcement officer according to the Illinois Law Enforcement Training and Standard Board. All right, so he went to part-time law enforcement academy, to try to get, to get certified so he can be full-time. So from February 21 to May 2021, he had his second part-time police job. All right. And he worked as a police officer in Kincaid, Illinois, which had about 1,400 people. All right. He left because he wanted to be a Sangamon County Sheriff Deputy. That's what he wrote on his application. All right. I wonder why nobody wants to hire him full time anyway. So, and it's okay because sometimes this happens. But May 2021 to December 2021, he actually had his third part-time job. All right. So, his third part-time job, and they said that like he was proactive and he worked well with the public. So I mean, they said, yeah, it was nothing, wrong with him. But there was a lieutenant who wrote, Grayson did not demonstrate good officer safety skills, however. And I guess he was saying because he was new to the job. All these red flags, like, come on. So let's fast forward to 2021 and to May 2022. He actually did get full-time police work at the Auburn Police Department, okay? But they said there wasn't any real problems or disciplinary issues during his time there, all right? And then May, he got his first office position, all right? I don't know what that means. Oh, he was hired by the Logan County Sheriff's Office, all right? And then let's get it, because once you get that job and pass that 90-day window probation, some people will start to show who they really are. So here we go, September 12th, 2022. There was criticism over vehicle pursuit, okay? So apparently Grayson, he failed to adequately slow down after his supervisor called off a vehicle pursuit. And he just decided he was going to do what he wanted to do and struck a deer, okay? He was actually reaching speeds of 63 miles per hour in a 30 mile per hour zone. And he failed to show due caution when driving through stopped intersection. And that is what the Chief Deputy Nathan Miller wrote in his report. After his supervisor terminated the pursuit and Grayson turned off his emergency lights, Grayson still continued at a high speed rate of 110 miles per hour in a 55 mile per hour zone, which he then struck the deer. Okay, there goes your red flag. Because as you know, some of us who work in corporate America or who work whatever, wherever we work, corporate America. I say corporate America because if you're getting up, going to work for somebody and you're clocking in and you have a corporation, whether it's fast food or whatever, it's still corporate because you're still working for a corporation. You're on a probation. And how many of us know, like, when new people come in, they acting all like, I'm a good employee, but start having conversation with them in 2 weeks in when they say stuff like, yeah, I'm just gonna work overtime. I'm gonna do overtime, but I'm not doing any work. Or I'm leaving, but I'm not gonna clock out. Or I'm just gonna do this. Like those people. Okay. Anyway, so in May 2023. He actually did get a new sheriff's office job. And that's when he left Logan County to become a Sangamon, am I saying that right? Sangamon County Sheriff's Deputy, all right? They performed a background check and, they said no other law enforcement agency reported problems before they hired him. And they said that his personal file actually included references from people they know well, okay? And this is what Grayson wrote on his application. He said, my communication, people-centric nature, and compassion have afforded me excellent critical thinking skills. critical thinking skills, really, man? Really? Anyway, so May 24th, he actually, I'm almost done, y'all, but y'all can see all the red flags that this guy has had. And again, when you see something, say something, right? Because all these red flags are just proving that what you're seeing is really what you're seeing, right? Meaning, don't think like, oh, I'm tripping. He can't be doing that. Yes, they are. Because people don't give a nowadays. You know what I'm saying? They don't care about another's life. They care about their own. So anyway, so in May 2024, a man filed a complaint about Grayson with the Sangamon County Sheriff's Office. The man said he had a 17-year-old girl. The man said he and a 17-year-old girl were questioned at a home around 11:30 p.m. on May 1st by officers from multiple agencies about the whereabouts of another person, okay? After the officers demanded to be let in the house, the complaint said Grayson accused the girl of obstructing an investigation and then threatened her that if she didn't let them in the house, he was going to put her in cuffs and she would go to jail. All right. The person's complaint says, I believe it's 100% unlawful to threaten, detain, and being arrested and not because you're not letting officers into your home with no warrant. And then more specifically, you verbally attacking a 17-year-old girl and failing to contact adults, supervisor, or parents of any kind. Okay, I got a couple of questions though. Why was the man and a 17-year-old girl in the house and the parents weren't there? Like, they didn't say it was her cousin. Anyway, that's another story. All right. So anyway, again, they defined to investigate, and so they just kind of like said, okay, no formal investigation needed, and that was it. Okay. And then on July 6, 2024, that's when Sonia Massey actually got killed. All right. So there you have it. Warning signs, red flags, anytime red flags, whether it comes to your relationship, anything, see something, say something. It was a couple of examples we could talk about that recently, just the other day, the shooting that happened here in Georgia. The kid was investigated. They had investigated the kid. And they said that there was nothing else found, and closed the case. Like, what? We talking about a kid being investigated for wanting to kill people with guns and just all kind of crazy stuff, and you decide, he's just a kid. Oh, he's just a white kid. Probably. Oh, he's just a kid. Look at him. He don't mean no harm. What? They call me investigating Sally for a reason, because I'm going to investigate. I'm going to investigate like hell, okay? First of all, you may close the case, but I'm going to be all over this kid's Facebook, all over it. And maybe they say they don't have the manpower. I get it. You don't have the manpower hours, but what happens to, as a somebody who is here to protect citizens, right? Whether you are an officer, firefighter, whatever, you took a job to protect us citizens, right? And so my thing, what happens to trust your instinct, go above and beyond, like things that I know you're probably taught when you're in training, right? So here you have a kid that you're investigating, and you have there is history of kids that act a certain way, that do certain things, that do this and that would trigger your mind and say, hey, we need to keep an eye on this kid. I mean, I watch the movies. I've never been inside a police station to see how they have the pictures and all, like who's in part of what criminal activity. But would there not be a board somewhere that says, hey, what's going on with this kid when we have our brief meetings? What's going on with this? And then the fact that y'all got up there, I guess y'all had to say it because somebody was going to find out. But the fact that y'all are like, yeah, we had investigated this kid last year, and, we closed the case. We closed the investigation because we didn't find anything. And he turned around and did it. It's just so many red flags there, so many questions, so many people that did not have to suffer from this had the processes been in place and we follow through, and we not just say, we're gonna close this, because I feel like there are certain things, certain behaviors that should never not be followed, right? Pedophiles, people who have killers, people who buy AR-15s for forts for their kids, okay? Kids who go online and they say they're gonna do this and they're gonna do that, and kids who know that these kids are doing this, like, see something, say something. The whole thing about I'm not a snitch, okay, that is so old, that is so played out. That is so played out, because you gotta, when you see something, say something, okay? So just, yeah, let's get it together. So this summer, June, July, and August, did I talk about August? I don't know if I talked about August or not, but August, it's August, yeah, June, July, August. August, y'all, it was all about voting, all of that going on. Like, I think I had talked about August on Wednesday, but I didn't want to talk about August. I know what I'm going to talk about August. I'm going to talk about my favorite shows that I actually got to watch and are still watching this past August, okay? Because with so much noise going on, there was a lot of noise going on. There was a lot of noise going on this summer. I mean, even from the election, like everybody, like when Biden kind of like did his thing during the debate, and how he was getting dogged out, to him turning around saying, yeah, I endorse Kamala, I'm gonna step down, and Trump, and just so much, and celebrity gossip, and just a lot going on. People passing away, surprising deaths, unexpected deaths, surprising deaths. So much is going on. I had to actually debrief, okay? Once my summer classes finished, I didn't take any for the first part of fall. I'm taking them for the second part of fall. So I took the time to debrief and check out some of these shows, and it actually helped clear my mind. Actually reading my books as well. But here are some of my favorites that are up here, all right? So Supercell, I actually finished season 1. This was a really, really good show, Supercell. All right, it's on Netflix, and it's based in South London, and you have a group of normal people. Well, they're not quite normal, right? But they suddenly develop like these superpowers, right? And the connection between them all, when they finally realize, is that they have like family members who actually have a history of sickle cell disease. And so with this sickle cell disease creates this supercell, which creates these superpowers, right? And they're actually being pursued by a secret organization who intends to control them, all right? So this series is really good. I mean, it has some familiar actors in it, like Tosin Cole, Adilo, I think I'm saying that right? Adeloyo, Josh Tatiku, Nadine Mills, Eric Kofi Abrifa, Calvin Dima, Getz Diggity, and Eddie Marson. Okay, so it's yes, the guy from BMF is in there. He's starring in there. Really great. Supercell on Netflix. Check it out. Really good. Another one that I actually really, another series that I really like was American Sweethearts. Dallas Cowboy Cheerleaders, okay? And y'all know about them. They're very, very famous. This is actually a Netflix docuseries that follows the Dallas Cowboy Cheerleaders, also known as DCC, as they navigate the pressures of being an NFL cheerleader. They show it from them auditioning to training camp, and they also show like the rookies and the veterans who actually are also still trying to vie for a position on the team. Really great. This one actually had me kind of like, I ain't gonna lie, I was kind of emotional with this one right here. uh, I was really kind of emotional with this one right here. I don't know what's going on with my camera. Everything be like, after an hour, that's it. After an hour, that's it. Anyway, I was kind of emotional with American Sweethearts, the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders, because these girls actually, they were going through a lot, okay? Like, and when I say a lot, like the emotion, they had to like leave and go on camp. Let's see if my mic's still on. My mic's still on. Yeah, my mic's still on. So they actually had to leave, you know, their home and their jobs to go on camp, and yeah, it was a lot. Let me see if I can get this camera to work. We might can get it to work. Let's see. Nope, it's still running hot. That's okay. That's okay. I'm almost done anyway, y'all. So hold on. All right. So back to this. All right. So that one's really good. And then one person commented about the show. They said this series is a prime example of modern day slavery, exploitation, corporate greed, and how out of touch the coaches and owners are with reality. But you know, I can't. Who's to say? Like, everybody has dreams and goals, and everybody has reasons as to why they want to participate in something, whether they're getting paid or not. But I did see, according to in 2022, there's a report by NBC Boston that the DCC cheerleaders make about $500 per game and $15 to $20 per hour for practices, which actually comes to roughly about $75,000 per year, which, I mean, isn't bad for something that they love to do. All right, my next one up is Beekeeper. Okay, Beekeeper. This one is also on. This is on Prime, and this one was. Let me tell y'all. When I tell you, don't judge a book by its cover, you should not, because this one I kept skipping it. Right, I kept skipping over it. I was like, oh, no. And then, actually, I was like, let me watch it. And it's actually, it was pretty good. Like, for real. Like, real good. Okay, so this is an action thriller, and it stars Jason Statham, and actually also Felicia Rashad. Okay, so he's a beekeeper, and when the landlady, Felicia Rashad, commits suicide after falling victim to a phishing scam, she loses all her money, her entire savings. He decides he's gonna go out and give these people hell and revenge upon them doing that. And it's a really good action-packed show, which you all should check out. Check that out. All right, so the last one, let me see something while I'm doing it, is Serpent Queen. Whoo, y'all. Let me tell you, Serpent Queen is actually also on Prime. And this one, she's a beast. This lady is a beast. Let me see if I can get this really quick to plug up. I don't know. Let me see. Hold on, y'all. Bear with me. It might work. It might not work. Anyway, this show is a beast, okay? This is an American historical drama, and it's a series, and it is a series about the life of Catherine de Medici, the 16th century queen of France. And the actress that's playing this is Samantha Morton, and let me tell you, she do not play. This is a really good one. This one is worth binging, okay? Because Queen Catherine, her actions are letting you know she is not to be played with, and she is coming in like she is coming in. All right. So again, you all, let's see. Have to check y'all out over here again, y'all. This was my wrap. This was my summer recap. Okay, this is episode 8. My wrap up of the summer recap. Just June, July, and August. These months, y'all, we learned a lot. We learned a lot. We saw a lot. Let's continue to stay focused. We still got 58 days left before Tuesday's November 5th election. And so, of course, some of the registration deadlines to register to vote in person at local election offices is October 7th, close of business day. Online is October 7th. By mail, it has to be postmarked by October 7th. All right. You can request an absentee ballot by October 25th. And that ballot actually has to be returned by November 5th, close of polls, okay? Also, if you're returning the ballot in person, it also has to be there by November 5th, close of polls. So again, thank you all for hanging out with me again. We kind of made it. I don't know why the camera went out. I think it went hot. That's okay. We're going to figure it out. We're going to get it figured out one day. We're going to get it figured out. I'm glad I had 2 cameras working today for me. Anyway, as always, I enjoyed you all for hanging out with me. Until the meantime, you all make sure y'all stay educated. Make sure y'all stay registered. Make sure y'all register to vote. Make sure y'all go to vote. Make sure y'all tell people to vote. I can't tell you who to vote for. I can tell you that you need to do it, okay? Until then, y'all be good. I will check you out on episode 9 soon, one day, couple of weeks. I don't know, one day, whenever my brain starts to work. In the meantime, y'all can follow me all on social media, Stacey Michelle, okay? And make sure y'all follow, like, and subscribe. Or follow, like, do what you want to do. But I appreciate y'all. All right, talk to y'all later. Bye.
No, I'm not. I'm breaking all the rules.
You're mocking me.
Yes, I'm allowed to flirt.
Somebody's
Surprise,
writing the
my
script, you know,
Surprise,
somebody's
money
doing
from you,
it.
I
So you
need
don't
you to
really
say
do it all by
please.
yourself, but
Touch.
And I'm allowed to touch.
I'm gonna get there.
Who'd have thought in the back of the room, what a tunes. In the back of the room, what a tunes.
I'd like to touch you. Later.
I'm not a whore.
I wouldn't pay. Why the fuck did he leave you?
Lot of shit poppin', lipstick poppin'. Lot of shit poppin', lipstick poppin'. Lot of shit poppin', lipstick poppin'. Lot of shit poppin', lipstick poppin'.
I'd like to touch you. Later.
I'm not a whore.
I wouldn't pay. Why the fuck did he leave you?
What's your job?
A question. You've asked me a question.
So?
It's a chink in your armor.
I'm not wearing armor.
Yes, you are. You know what I do. Why are you calling yourself Jane?
Because it's my name.
We both know it isn't.